G'day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Metal video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the performance of the EZA Cell Perfect Form INT LR and how he does in the Cell Max event. Now INT LR Cell is pretty good. He leads the Android's Cell Saga team, which is an okay team. I think if you have the AGL Perfect Cell, it's actually a very strong team. I just think the physical LR is really good if you have him like Rainbow or with a little bit more dupes than I do. But I think overall, like, the team is in a pretty solid space. I do think you need to mix and match though. You can't kind of sit with like just an extreme team or just a super team. I do think you need to mix and match a little bit, and yeah, I think that's generally just a good idea. Cell is pretty good. Obviously after his EZA he gained a whole bunch of buffs. Obviously the first one being just his raw stats got really amplified quite a lot. Cell does do more damage in his base form against multiple targets than against a single target enemy. But Cell in general looks pretty good. I think he looks really solid. He's a great looking unit. I think he brings a lot to the table. He's really reliable. He's got a heal which is super duper valuable. Although the heal can be somewhat difficult to trigger in the Cell Max event. Like, it can be a little bit difficult to trigger his heal in this event, just because the first two phases aren't really hard enough to kind of get him, or to get your team below the 40% mark. Like, later on in the video I'll show you how a transform Cell does, but I had to actually like strategically make the team take an intense amount of damage. Like, I was putting units that don't get super, like, that don't get defense until they super, in the way of like a lot of attacks and things like that, just to try and get the health down below the 40% threshold. Because nowadays the first two phases of the Cell Max aren't really hard enough to challenge most decent teams. Like, even this physical phase doesn't do a lot of damage against the INT LR Cell. So yeah, overall it is, I don't want to say disappointing or anything, but yeah, it's just the way the event is designed is kind of a hindrance to INT LR Cell. And talking about design, obviously my usual disclaimer, the Cell Max event, or the Super Activation Cell Max event, is an event that's best taken on by units that have guard, damage reduction, or high levels of evasion. It is an incredibly difficult event that a lot of units cannot handle. So don't judge a unit by how they take damage or how they handle the Cell Max event. It's a very peculiar event in general. Now for me, Cell does pretty well. I think overall Cell does have a real innate advantage in this event. Being INT type, it does help him out a lot. And yes, the physical phase or the second physical phase could technically pose him problems, but Cell is so strong as an INT unit, it doesn't really matter. Like, even if he gets hit by a super, I think he takes like 100k or something. Like, he really doesn't take a lot, so it's actually not a big deal. You actually want him to get hit by the super, because you kind of want him to like get hit by the super and then be able to use his active skill to kind of do like a huge amount of damage. So yeah, and obviously you want him to revive, so it is kind of like you almost really want him to actually just get kind of destroyed by Cell Max, so that he can take damage and we can actually see how he does. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Of course, I think for the most part Cell is a pretty good option for Cell Max. I just think it's teams that's going to depend on whether you use Cell. I think if you want to make a good attempt at Cell Max with INT LR Cell, you're going to need to probably go down the route of having a mix between super and extreme side teams, and it's probably better to go Kamehameha team than to go for like the INT Cell team. I think that's better unless you can get both INT Cells transform on the same turn, and then maybe you've got a chance, just, because. But yeah, I think in general, I'm probably sitting on the position of him being a great option for a Kamehameha team, more so than being a fantastic standalone option for himself, I think, or for the Android Cell Saga team. I think the Android Cell Saga team needs 1 or 2 more pieces to really function nicely, but then again, you can set things up really nicely. You can have like Android 16, you can have quite a few interesting units as well. So that's not to say that this team, there's actually quite a few gimmicky units you can use. You can use Android 16, you can use the Yardrak Goku. There's like a lot of units you can actually use to kind of make things function well. And you can see their Cell takes 80k before Super. After Super, he takes 8k. It's not bad at all. Yeah, Super's probably going to give him a real big problem, but that's okay. I think overall his defense is pretty good for the situation. It's really his transformations, active skill, all those sort of things that's really gonna pop off and really is gonna make him look pretty crazy, like at least for me. So yeah, obviously here we do manage to get him to transform, which is quite crucial. It's quite an important situation for him. We also managed to get his active skill as well, which is really important. But yeah, you're gonna see like huge, this is where you're gonna see like some huge level numbers. You're gonna see like some pretty big stuff from Cell, which I think is good. Overall, Cell's gonna kind of go pretty crazy in the clutch. It's gonna go pretty hard in the paint here, which is fine. I think it's always good. You can see these nice big attack stats. He's gonna really give Cell like quite a big problem here. If we got an additional, we actually might have killed, which is good. I mean, Cell's really good. I mean, here you're gonna see him survive as well. Yeah, he's gonna tank the super attack quite well as well. So yeah, overall I think Cell is really good. Honestly, have no issues with him at all. I think he's great. So yeah, Cell does a great job. So if you have Cell, he could definitely hard carry this. I mean, there you saw we're like 1 lucky additional away from winning. So yeah, I think Cell definitely can carry this. But overall, really good stuff. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.